Have you ever wondered if your clubs are actually suited for your game? Are you skeptical about the benefits of club fitting, thinking that it's only for professionals? Or perhaps you've considered getting fitted, but you aren't sure what to expect or what to bring. But deep down, you've probably asked yourself, is it really my swing, or can my clubs be a part of the problem? Am I missing out on shots, confidence, and progress because I've never been fitted? In today's video, we're diving into the world of club fitting. We will explore common misconceptions about club fitting, what you need to bring to a fitting session, the step-by-step process of club fitting at Ping headquarters, the benefits and insights you'll gain from the experience, including my personal takeaways, and why club fitting is essential for golfers no matter the skill level. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned player, understanding the importance of club fitting can be a game changer. Back in January, I had a chance to attend the PGA Show, one of the largest golf events of the year. Everyone from equipment brands to apparel and training techs show up, and that's where I met the Ping team. I've always respected Ping as a brand, but after chatting with them at the PGA Show, I realized how truly invested they are in helping everyday golfers improve their golf game, especially through fitting, not just the players on tour. So they invited me out to Scottsdale, Arizona to get a full tour and a personal one-on-one fitting at their headquarters. And I truly had no idea how much I'd learn. And I'm gonna share everything with you guys, so get comfortable. So a little flashback, I went to the PGA Show for the first time this year. What an event, first of all. The first company that I went up to was Ping. I obviously wanted to try their new club that they launched because I haven't had a new set of clubs since graduating college. If you don't know this, I was a former Division I golfer at the University of Miami, and I graduated in 2022. Equipment changes and improves every single year, so I was really looking forward to demo day and trying out all the new clubs. First impression, they spent at least 45 minutes with me, fitting me for basically all the irons. The weather was crappy, 40 degrees, windy and rainy, but I'm telling you what, I hit those irons so well.
I just hit some Ping clubs. I hit those clubs so pure. My hands were freezing. I can't even feel anything right now. I hit them amazing, so I got all the specs. What length is this shaft?
So again, it's a ½ inch under standard length, so this will be 36.5 inches for a 7 iron.
Yeah, it feels really comfortable.
So flash forward like a month. They saw I was going on a trip to Arizona, and they invited me to the headquarters to get fitted for a whole brand new set of clubs. My game is so good right now. On my home course, I am having to change all of my strategies. I'm hitting yardages that I was at my peak performance in college. That's the reason why you need to get fitted, and that's what this video is about. Let's start with the misconceptions. First misconception is that you need to be a good golfer to get fitted, and let me tell you, that is so far from the truth. I've been fitted, I believe, 3 times. The first time I got fitted I was like 2 months into golf. That might seem a little too soon, and I think it was a little too soon. I picked up on the game so fast, I needed to get another set, like almost like 6 months later. The reason to get fitted is to get clubs that are fit for your current swing, skill level, and speed. These shafts and clubs are supposed to work in your favor instead of against you. And when I say clubs can work against you, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. My dad. So my dad currently has my hand-me-down clubs, and my dad is starting to get back into the game more. He's using my old clubs because they're really good clubs, but the heads are small, the shafts are too heavy, they're too stiff, and the clubs are actually working against him. He's hardly launching the ball. The ball isn't sticking on the greens, basically making the game a little bit harder, right? The next myth is that you need to know everything about your clubs and how you hit the ball. I don't know my spin rate. I don't know my launch angle. That is for the track man. But the things that you do need to know is, what are my current irons doing? What are the tendencies that I am having? How am I making contact with the ball? Am I consistent? Am I inconsistent?
Still comfortable at the 5?
5 iron's not my favorite club.
Okay. What is it that you don't like with the 5? Is it just consistency-wise? Okay. Is it a launch or is it just a strike consistency?
It's both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
Where are the gaps in my yardages? That is huge. He did ask me.
Do you find right now with the set built as far as spacing wise that there's clubs that overlap, or there's something you maybe want to go to something different?
Yeah, so my pitching wedge and 9 iron, there's a huge gap. I have a lot of like 125 shots, but nothing's really consistent there. I've always had a problem with that group, that number for some reason.
And then on the 3 and 5 wood, how has that setup been for you?
The gaps are good. I wish the 3 would go a little bit further for me. It carries about the same distance. The 3 wood just runs out a little bit more.
Fitters are supposed to discover those things like launch angle and spin rate and help you get those numbers in the sweet spot. For example, my driver that I had, the spin rate was way too high.
I think the shafts are a little too heavy for me now.
Okay. Pretty stout, stiff shaft that you're currently playing.
My driver would get up in the air and literally stop and just fall, and I would get no rollout on the fairway. I was carrying it 240 and that was all it was going. He saw that my spin rate was high, so his goal was to get that lower so I can have them running on the fairway. Another misconception is that you need to hit it and swing your best. No. I hopped off an airplane and got into an Uber and started the fitting. My flight already delayed. My fitting is at like 11:30 and I won't be getting in until like 11. I literally sprinted off the airplane and got changed, and now I'm just waiting for my bag. I did not have my stuff that day, and you know what? That's okay. They want to see your misses. If you're hitting poor shots, it shows them, okay, how far are the misses and how can I get those misses from here to here? And the last thing, fittings are all about getting more distance. You see all the commercials like, oh, this year, this new club is getting 10 extra yards, or get this club and gain 7 more yards off the tee. Fittings are not about distance and distance only. My goal was, yes, to get more distance, but also take my misses from here to here.
Just a consistent, looking to improve my consistency here.
That's what we're gonna try to do.
Yeah.
And that is what a fitting will really help you with. All right, so next I'm gonna talk about what to bring to a fitting. Now, I was hitting outside, but even if you're hitting inside, bring golf shoes. You wanna dress and prepare yourself like you would be on the golf course. And most important is bring your old set of clubs.
My current bag setup is it's a little all over the place. Okay. 58, 54, 50.
Okay.
Pitching wedge. 9 to 5, a 4 hybrid, 5 wood, 3 wood driver.
Okay.
I was warming up with those clubs. He instantly saw what my misses were. Right off the bat, he kind of knew, like, these irons do look a little stiff. They basically work off of what you've been hitting.
Currently playing is definitely built to be a little bit more of a higher launching characteristic. Launch and spin, it's not terrible. It's a little bit inconsistent on the spin. We'd like to see that to be a little better. Your launch is a little bit more consistent. Landing angle at 39, wouldn't mind seeing that maybe come up a smidge.
So now I'm going to talk about the fitting itself. I think one of the most important things to do when you're getting fitted is just be honest, be upfront, tell them what's going on in your game. Also, bring questions. They get asked so many questions. No question is a dumb question. Just take it as a learning experience, and I think you'll benefit a lot from it. So the first thing that we did, I walked into the headquarters, changed my outfit because it was freezing. We first went and I got fitted for a putter. Now that is going to be a completely different video because I feel like nobody gets fitted for putters, and they should. They just pick a putter that they're putting really well at Golf Galaxy, and then they get the putter and they can't make anything with it. There's so much to putter fittings. It's crazy. So that's going to be a video in itself. But my first impression walking in was just the hospitality. I was looking forward to the day. I had a hectic travel day. And what made it even more special is the fact that I got fitted obviously one-on-one, but I got fitted outside. And that might not seem like like a surprising thing, but out of the 3 other times I've been fitted, I was fitted inside. Now, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. When I got fitted, I was hitting off of turf on a TrackMan and I wasn't able to see the ball flight. Sounds crazy, honestly. Now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, why was I hitting off of turf getting fitted for golf clubs? Like, it makes no sense. I was very blessed and lucky that I was able to hit off the ground because the weather was so bad.
Spin's still a little high. Where did that come from?
Next, their specific color code chart. Never seen this in any of the other club fittings that I had.
Ping Copilot, which has different tools that we use to help during the fitting process. One of them is just the symbol of the color code chart. So what the color code chart will do is take your height and your wrist to floor number. So height's going to kind of more dictate where we should start at lengthwise. Your wrist to floor as well will dictate a little bit where we start color code wise, but that's just a starting point.
They use it as a starting point when you get fitted for shafts. I thought this was really cool, and I think that is what and why I got fitted for a shorter shaft. I thought that was really unique and really caught my attention. Almost every single time I hit a shot, he asked me how it felt.
Feeling better?
Yeah. The feedback that I got was absolutely outstanding. And if I wasn't feeling it, even if the numbers were okay and I was like, no, I don't like it, there was always something else that he had. And that is just the beauty of getting fitted. He said that the area for fitting is so wide.
The window of fitting is so wide.
Yeah.
There's so much to choose from. So during the process, we just try to narrow everything into the smaller windows.
Every single thing they changed, every tweak that he made was made for a reason. It was funny, he would say, you know, I didn't tell you what I did, or I actually changed this and you had no idea. And normally I'm able to pick up on like if there was a weight change or, you know, something small.
I already see some differences with this one.
He would hide these little things from me and I would have no idea. I wasn't the only one getting fitted that day, but everyone who was getting fitted, you can just tell the Ping team knew exactly how to fit any golfer. Having that one-on-one feedback with the professional fitter from Ping, it's pretty awesome to say the least. Obviously at the PGA show, I loved the G440s, but I believe that was the only club head that I hit with.
First one is the G440.
Yep.
This is our new line we just launched this year. It's definitely built on this idea of making the game a little bit easier with adding some more forgiveness. A lot of where our forgiveness comes from is our weighted system we use. So we actually put a weight out on the toe side, and then we actually install a weight, which we can't see here, inside the hosel before we install the shaft. That maximizes our heel to toe weighting to help keep the head more stable through impact, but also it frees us up in the center section to manipulate and move weight in different areas there.
Obviously at the fitting itself in Scottsdale, I tried all of the iron heads that they had. The first swing was with the G440.
We're done. Goodbye. I'm taking this with me.
It was perfect. It was one of those things where it's like, yeah, nothing's changed, you know, the weather was still the same as it was at the PGA show. I'm still performing really well with it. I didn't stop there. He put me in all the different heads and each head has a different ball performance. So the G440 and the goal with that head specifically is to have a higher launch. And I am definitely seeing that when I am currently playing with them. I'm telling you, the greens at my home course are so firm and they're so fast, and the fact that I'm able to stick and they spin back is absolutely huge, and I believe that is another reason why I am playing so well. But back to the fitting itself, I can talk forever about my game right now. Once we kind of narrowed down that, you know, the G440 it's the head meant for me.
If you're okay with it, you like it, I think we stick with the 440.
Yeah, I agree. It was like I was hitting that at the PGA show and I was like, this is same kind of weather, hitting it about the same.
We jumped to the shaft and he went to explain how the head of the club itself, regardless if it's a driver, a 3-wood, an iron, that's what helps, like that's what makes the ball perform, and the shaft is what helps make the ball perform. Basically that means that the shaft is the most important part of the club fitting itself. It's what makes the club do its thing. He put me in so many different shafts.
This one's definitely better than the other one.
Yes.
But
I agree. Dispersion's better.
yeah,
Ball speed difference.
some slower.
And each shaft, I had no idea. It could be softer in one area and more firm or stiff in another, and it makes the ball perform differently. Hello? I had no idea. I thought it was only the grams and the weight and the stiffness. I didn't know there were various areas around the shaft where it was more stiff and soft than others. So that's something that I learned. It was crazy how the ball performed when he would change the shaft. Sometimes the shaft would make the ball like hook. It was like, first of all, my swing ain't that bad to hook it like that, but it was the shaft, and the shaft is what allowed the head to do that. But another thing is the size of the grip. Now I have small hands, but I like the feeling of a bigger grip. I know John Daly uses a bigger grip, and I know Bryson DeChambeau uses a bigger grip. I have used a thicker grip to chip with in the past. I loved that feeling. I felt like I had so much control, so I went and got bigger grips on the irons. What a difference in the control I have. Literally, my dispersion went from here to here just by the grip. I was absolutely shocked by that. Got fit for the irons, got fit for the woods, and moving on to the driver. You guys know driver is my favorite club, but like I said previously, my driver that I had, the shaft I believe was a little too stiff and it was getting way too spinny. Into the wind shots were horrible. I knew something was going on. My spin rate with my other club was above 3,000. It needs to be around the 2,000 to 2,300 range. That is like the sweet spot with spin rate. So I improved that, and oh my gosh, the first swing that I had with the driver, I was like, yep, I'm going home with this baby too.
That was piped.
It was another one of those things where I knew it was right. Now, I am super particular about the sound that clubs make. Don't ask, but it's something about the club. If I don't like the sound, I'm not gonna get it. Don't go for me in the comments. And I absolutely love the sound that the Ping driver makes.
How does the driver look in the feet?
I love the sound of it. Yeah.
And he said that a lot of the pros love it as well, and that's why they kind of go towards the club that I have. So now that the shaft that I have is lighter and a lot less stiff, the spin rate went down, and now it is just piercing through the wind, and I'm hitting my driver max 275 again. No joke. I couldn't be more happy. But another thing to note too is, you know, I thought since my irons were a shorter shaft, do I need to get a shorter shaft in my driver? No, that is not right. He actually added length to the driver so I can get more distance. You see with the long drivers, they always use super long clubs so they can really get that lag on the way down, and that's a reason why he put me in a longer shaft so I can get that yardage that I once had. Again, another thing that I didn't know, but a little secret that he had in his back pocket. So I left the fitting knowing that these clubs are finally fit for me. I'm telling you what, I am so pleased with how these clubs are performing, especially the wedges. I got the midnight black wedges. He asked me if I liked the black or the silver. Silver ones are fine. That's what I've had all my life, so I'm not going to change that. But he said, are there times when, you know, the sun is glaring up in your eyes? And I'm like, Yeah, there is. There's plenty of times where I'm addressing the ball and the sun is just reflecting off of the club face into my eyes, and that's something that I didn't really realize, but I'm like, okay, that sounds good and all, but will that color wear off? He showed me one of the clubs that have been hit multiple times. The color did not change whatsoever, and I'm like, yep, put that in the bag then. So overall, this fitting was something that I will never forget. It was super memorable, and I was able to see Ping headquarters behind the scenes, the gold vault, which was just absolutely breathtaking. Everyone there, again, like I said, was so generous. You can tell that they just love what they do. They love helping golfers. Without a doubt, if you are interested in getting fit for clubs, and especially Ping, I highly recommend, when you have clubs that work for you, when you're actually hitting shots that you visualize in your mind, that makes golf so exciting. And now that I'm playing like the athlete that I am, my swing has improved so much. I am performing and playing as good or better than I was in college. Please feel free to drop any questions or comments in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you learned something, and hopefully I influenced you to go get fitted. It's a game changer. I want to thank Ping so much for inviting me out to their headquarters. It was such a memorable experience. And don't forget to follow me on my other social accounts. I have an Instagram and TikTok where I share all sorts of education, quick tips, some fun lifestyle content as well. I will link those below, and stay tuned for part 2 of this series where I'm going to explain more specifically my specs and various definitions, things you just need to know as an amateur golfer. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.